Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is clearly focused on adoption of new generation administrative reforms, bringing citizens and government closer. At its heart remains improved service delivery, redressal of public grievances, e-office, and so on. Digital innovations will definitely play a key role over next decade, and this will necessitate conversations around technologies that will help shape digital governance in the future, with districts and the cities being the pivot leading to this transformation. We discussed some of the above, including Atmanirbhar Bharat, universalization of public services, innovation, ease of living through technology interventions, government process re-engineering, and civil society participation in governance. There is need to move towards outcome-based monitoring, and each district setting its own targets in consultation with stakeholders, including the civil society. Today's panel on the state of digital governance at the district level takes stock of the situation and suggests ways to overcome the hurdles. Let me have the pleasure of introducing our panelists today, Ms. Nidhi Chaudhary, District Collector, Mumbai Suburban. She was earlier District Collector, Raigad, and Joint Commissioner, Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. Out of several contributions made towards the country, some of them include effectively managing the COVID pandemic and disaster management during Cyclone Nisarga, Tukate, and the recent Mahad floods. She has worked on the physical and financial completion of around 2,500 incomplete NRDWP initiatives across the state. She has played a major role in introducing gender budgeting and equipping 1,500 schools with e-learning facilities. Ms. Shreya P. Singh, District Collector from Namakkal District Administration. She's been actively involved in adolescent issues in district, especially child marriage, teenage pregnancy, adolescent, and tribal health issues. This is one-of-a-kind project and a continuing program which aims at evolving to help these students to safeguard and empower them to take an oath to desist from causes of psychosocial issues and to emerge as a promising society and promising future citizens. In place of Ms. Fauzia Taranum, we are joined by Mr. Sameer M., who is Deputy Secretary, Zilla Panchayat Kopal. And District Administration Jamtara is not able to join us. So let me start the discussion. We split it over 3-4 questions, and for each question, we go over to each panelist. Maybe take 3 to 4 minutes answering it, and we move on to the next, and then we get into a discussion. So my first question is, when we say that our focus is citizen, so how to bring citizens and government closer through digital platforms? And I would like Ms. Chaudhary to start.
Thank you. The entire concept of digital governance is to provide the services to citizens. While we say it is government to government, government to business, government to employees, and government to citizen, but the ultimate crux of the entire digital governance is to bring governance closer to citizens, bring governance in their mobiles, in their PCs, and obviously, I understand your point that probably there needs to be a feedback mechanism to improve the existing service delivery, from birth registration to marriage registration to death registration to passport services, railway ticketing. A lot has already gone online, and a lot is yet to become online. Say all the 712 records, land records are now online available. The maps are available online, but probably there are possibilities of improvising how these can be integrated. So like I said, the government to government, at that stage, probably the stage has not come wherein the state government services are connected with the district level government facilities, and they are connected to the central level government also. So that kind of an integration is missing, and which is where probably the strong feedback mechanism through these services itself can be incorporated. But having said so, because each of these services are delivered to citizens by the government and is being attempted, especially under the Digital India mission, I'm sure citizens' feedback is taken into account. And the more progress we are making into this digital domain, the more we get to know that almost like Estonia is a very, very small country, but 90% of their services are online. They've even gone to the extent of digital voting. So even India has a long way to go there. While we have done a lot, we still have a long way to go there, and which is where probably taking feedback from citizens, listening to their voice, taking their suggestions, improvising on our services has a role.
Sure. Shreyaji, if I may ask you the same question.
Yeah, thank you. We are in the era of digital governments, I would say. If we see some 20 years back, still you had to access offices to do your work. But now we are taking it up to the level that almost all the services which governments are doing, and it's almost available at your fingertip. You can just swipe into your portal. You can enter, if you have an application for your nativity, your birth certificate, your death registry, everything has become online now. That's a very huge leap of change which has come in the field of administration also. And this digital governance helps a lot for administrators as far as we are concerned. Because we get to know, if when working in an office setup, when sitting as an administrator, the main thing you will have to see is how far is the functioning happening, where is the default happening, where you have to improve, what is the status of the present programs. This is actually available very easily now. When it was just a matter of numbers, when you had to take the report from offices, but whereas right now you have all the reports in your desktop. You can just see what is the present status that is happening with the certificate. You can see how many people have applied and how many are still pending. Everything is available in a digital platform. More than that, now almost all the inspections, everything, Anganwadis or ICDS is there. We are also bringing that ICDS also to a platform of a digital governance. So the kids are getting monitored through digital governance. So you have the entire data of population as of now. From all the health factors, how many checkups they have done, what is the essentialities that they have. So this is actually giving us a feedback and helping us to tabulate and dovetail several schemes to understand what is the requirement of the population and what is the requirement of the people at large, and form a policies accordingly. So digital governance is the time, and this is going to be the future of the governance for sure for any administrator who's going to work ahead in the field of administrations.
You rightly pointed out that the digital governance, but largely the fear that has always been there with the people that the government is a little far away, and approaching has always been you don't know what is going to be the final outcome of that, although many of the things are now available online. So grievance redressal becomes a very big element in improving governance. So how do you see over a period of time, have people become comfortable dealing with the government and filing the grievances and being redressed?
Yes, we are having actually grievance redressal programs being put up through digital platforms. Now we have online grievance redressal programs as well as offline grievance redressal programs. But still a hesitation is there. Yes, okay, for a grievance or for your thing to be heard, you have to be face to face with the person. That still sustains in the way that until I'm heard by, seen by face and heard by my voice, how will the person emotionally connect with me? That still persists. And so people, even though grievance redressal modules have become online, still we have online modules. Even after putting the letters, they'll make sure to step down into and come out to your office and just say that, madam, I have this grievance, it is still pending, or I would like to say a few words about it. That anytime said, yes, a physical appearance before you or an opportunity of being heard, the feeling that yes, I'm being heard. In a digital platform or an online platform, there is no surety that yes, your this thing is being heard. Until and unless you get a feedback, you don't know what is the status of it. But once you are stepping into an office and saying your grievance, and when an officer says back, yes, I am doing it, or we are into it, that gives a lot of assurance to them, and that makes a clear difference. But still, we can use online platforms also even for this. This was the way we were working in COVID times. We used online platform for grievances also. That time also we made sure that people are being heard through the digital platforms, through Zoom calls, or through the online platforms, they were being heard. So it is not that, we cannot replace any physical appearances by a digital platform. It is possible. We have tried that also, and we have successfully done it during the COVID times, I would say, because all the grievances were being done through the online only during that time.
So in fact, your experience would be pretty much different from what probably Nidhi is experiencing, because she's sitting in an urban area. So what's been the situation with you, and what are your challenges?
Say, in a rural area, obviously, I understand that the issue of citizens not being able to feel that the administration is accessible. In the cities like Mumbai, in fact, we are flooded with over complaints. And any citizen who would write a letter, in fact, if the work can be done at Talati office, he will write up to Prime Minister office. And that complaint from PMO portal to CMO portal to Governor portal, and the same complaint is multiplied. So that's somewhere, even say, while we go for digital governance, some kind of digitally responsible citizenry is needed. And in cities, access to the government offices, access to the online services is so much and so better, in fact. Like even for the issues which do not pertain to my office, people file their complaints here as well. So it may be a police related issue or a slum related issue which goes to SRA, or MMRDA related issue, railways related issues. Despite having these specialized agencies, people write in every government department. And this multiplication also is somewhere resulting into wastage of time of government agencies, which belongs to the genuine complainants, the genuine grievances. So that's what sometimes affects, and some kind of a control mechanism needs to be there in this also. If the citizen has filed a complaint at one place, until it gets resolved, the same complaint need not be filed at multiple platforms, because this is only creating basically a complaint overload in the administration, and probably some genuine grievances may not get attended in time. For rural areas, even for this conference that we are having right now, we are facing the challenges of having a good digital broadband connectivity, and sometimes our voice is not getting connected properly. So while yes, the governments are going online, even I attempted to make 1,500 of my schools in Palghar provided with some kind of digital facility, but the fact that the way the highways have been built all across the country, the same way we need to have the digital broadband highways. If we really, really want to reach out in the farthermost areas of our country, if we really plan to have digital education in tribal areas, in rural areas, farthermost parts of our country, we need to equally provide and bridge the digital gap that exists in our country. Mobiles are there everywhere, but not the good broadband connectivity, good internet connectivity. So that point also I wanted to put forward.
Yeah, I understand. At some place, we see there is an over awareness and less of capacity building. So the zealous attitude of reaching out to the government, you start firing in all directions, which makes the job of administrators difficult rather than easy. Is it the same situation there with you, Shreyaji, or your experience is different? So how are you dealing with it?
Yes, we do have the same complaints coming up. There are people who are used to putting up complaints, or who are used to giving up complaints. They'll be using those who are well versed in the complaint system, as Nidhi was rightly pointing out. They would be putting up to the Prime Minister portal for sure. But still something that can be done is, yes, we can, why are the repeat complaints coming? That's one thing that we have to see it, right? I mean, if a person is becoming a repeat complainant, something that he was requiring to be done or something which his grievance was is being unheard. That's the point at where he's thinking that, yes, I have to raise up to the highest level possible, or the highest portal which is possible to give my complaint. So if we check upon the quality of the complaints and complaint redressals, this gap will be able to actually slowly bridge it. When we have systems now in Tamil Nadu governance, we are having Tamil Nadu e-governance agency. We have a special portal, and we are there's a special team being put to check into the quality of the reports that is being given, quality of the replies that is being given. And so we are trying to cut the complaints as far as possible and to make sure that the complaint is not escalating into the next level, or the repeat complaints for the same grievance is not being covered. So that would be slowly helpful. But still, this can be only one part. The complaint redressal mechanisms also through online, or through the online part, can be only an aiding point to the grievance redressal mechanism. It will not be able to completely replace it for sure, because many a times you have to physically visit, or you have to physically see them and say them about the grievances, and have to hear them, and then only these issues will be getting handled. It will be much more easier in a metro setup, as such, in Mumbai or metro cities and everywhere, where people will also be easily checking for a offline or online portal, because they don't want to waste their time on visiting an office. Why do I want to go to a place to register my complaint, would be the mentality that they would be having. But whereas in the rural setup, you will still have people that, okay, I'll walk in over there, I'll see their face and tell them, then I'm okay. Even if his grievance is not getting redressed also, he'll be relieved by 50% when he is expressing his grievances, whatever there is present. So this issue of quality of complaints, whether how far the complaints are good, whether the repeated complaints that is coming, whether it is something that can be solved in the same office, or it has to be pushed from one office to office, or that issues will sustain and will pertain for a long time. But still then, this is an opportunity which is given to the people, so that tomorrow they have a feedback about their complaints. Today, you are sure through a digital platform that, yes, your complaint is registered. Your complaint has some number. It is readily available with your hand. You don't have to say that, yes, my complaint was given, but nobody heard it, or it is not even getting registered. You have a proof of the registration of the complaint. And you are saying that, yes, I had registered this complaint, and this is the feedback that was given. So again, if you're going back also, you can say that this was how it was dealt with. That is why I am again coming back to the same thing.
Yeah. Yep, sure. You made a valid point. Before moving over to Mr. Sameer, I would like to ask a supplementary there, just a matter of clarification as well. Don't you have a system of the similar nature complaints getting bunched up, and on a point of particular grievance can be disposed of in a bunch altogether, rather than wasting time going through each and every grievance and then trying to understand? And also, if the same person has filed same complaint at 5 different spaces, then you know how to eliminate it.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us for this conference, sir. On behalf of our CEO, Madam, I am presenting myself. So far on this issue, what previous our panelists have given their views, I just want to add one basic thing that, for example, an organization like Reserve Bank of India, let us say, it has ombudsman department, which has come with an online portal with public grievance to be registered. And if the system is something like that, once the complaint has been registered,
you are muted. Yeah.
available across on the branches to be referred, and the same cause of action carrying complaint cannot be filed by the complainant in any of the forums in that vertical, maybe horizontally or vertical, which are organizations available. This is one good governance lesson which we can imbibe in our local government or district administration, so that as Madam was expressing her views, that duplication of complaints and habitual complainants, how to check on them. I think by introducing digital tools and technologies, the web portal integration and data mining of the various organizations and portals, to some extent we can address this issue, not only just tracing the identity and the details of the complainant, but also tracing out the subject matter of the complaint, so that immediately that series of complaints which he has filed in various forums can be integrated, and at one shot he can get the replies for all those numbered complaints. I think I am done on it.
Yeah, that's a very valid input. So Nidhiji, what's the scenario at your end? Because Samirji is sitting in a Zilla Panchayat. You are sitting in suburban, and Shreyaji is too far away from the the city environment. So let me start with you, Nidhiji.
Excuse me, the voice was not coming clearly.
Yeah. So as I said that, what the submission made
Hanji.
by Samirji, you heard him speak on the point of reference to, sort out all complaints. What's your opinion? How it is being done, whether at all, if it is being done this way, and what's the way moving forward? So this appears to be a very big challenge in grievance redressal system, is it? So I think we'll move over to Shreyaji in the meanwhile.
Yes, I would agree with Samir to the extent what you have said. We'll have to improve the systems in the say, like, we have some unique code or unique ID for the persons who are giving the complaint. Say by their Aadhaar card number or by some identity card, we should be able to identify, like, how many complaints the same person or is giving, or clubbing of the complaints to that unique ID. This would be helpful to go ahead and identify that, yes, under this same ID, this many complaints has been registered. Or say the phone is getting registered for once, and you get an OTP to the phone number, and the same phone number is being used for all the registering of the complaints. This will solve and help us in a long way to identify how many complaints is coming from a single person, or how many complaints the same person has been rising on different forums, but still not getting redressed. As far as the repeat complaints are coming, one thing we have identified is it is two types. Either something which cannot be solved, which requires a long run of time. So he is still having a grievance and it's not being addressed. Or it can be like, the grievance was correct. He has registered his grievance, but every time it has been not addressed properly and it's getting rejected for some invalid reasons. So if you're able to identify either of these two issues, you will be able to overcome the problems of multiple complaints and the bundling of the complaints and habitual complainants. So because once the problem with the digital platform is you are an invisible person over there. Nobody is going to see you. Nobody is going to recognize you. But when a time starts that your face might be becoming visible to them through some identity of yours, then you become cautious. When your face is becoming visible, you will be a little bit cautious in the sense that I'm raising only the relevant points. I'm telling only the true things. I'm going to speak about only the true things. So when that small check is happening, slowly the complaint seeking persons also will become cautious in making sure that they are registering the proper complaints on not raising very frivolous ones to the people over there.
Yeah. So Samirji, I missed out on the first question that I posed to the other two panelists, asking you how to bring citizens and government closer using digital platforms, because where you are sitting, that's the first line of contact, interaction between the citizen and the government, starting from village upwards. So how to accelerate that process? Because we say that we have the e-governance and the good governance and all kind of technology platforms available to us. But what's the reality there at your end?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking me on this. And to add to what I had said previously, also, I think on the other way around, the institutional failure to keep its stakeholders well informed also leads to raising multiple complaints in various forums. In most of the situations, the citizen is not knowing who is the actual competent authority who will resolve this matter. So unfortunately, she keeps writing to all the forums. Case from some respondent, the matter would get resolved. So coming back to the question which you have put before me, I think with a short span of 5 years of services into this ZP rural development sector, we find three major challenges in not able to bridge the gap between the governance and the citizen is. First is we have not equipped with digital infrastructure at rural level or rural villages. We still lack broadband issues, speed of the internet connectivity. Then we are not able to allow the citizen to articulate his ideas in his regional or local language on the digital platform. We are not encapsulated them with basic minimum information to as a kind of a flow chart to how to come online to interact with the governance system. This is one important lacuna. At the same time, second important issue is the organization, including the government body, has to come up front. What are the parameters on which you want to have self disclosure to the citizens, so that the perception of the institution among the public can be better off. This is it can be legislative also, judiciary matters also. It is as small as a field visit of any officer in the village, or conducting the meetings and drawing the proceedings and taking the decisions. To what extent you want to disclose the institutional activity on a day-to-day basis to the citizens. And third biggest challenge which we are supposed to address is to what extent we want to empower the citizens to give their opinion on various aspects of the governance at different levels. Unfortunately, we have continued and adopted and morphed the colonial times of British governance, which is by and large a vertical structure. And I think some of the Western countries have in fact the government setup is horizontally led organizational structures, where lessons are drawn from governance and corporates are practicing it. But on the other side, in India, I don't know whether to put forth this view or not, but we try to draw lessons from private organizations and governance model of corporates, which is very unfortunate. So I think the third issue what I was able to present before you, that is there a possibility to make it more horizontal and build the stakeholder mentality of the citizens, and at each level of decisions people are being allowed on digital platform to give their ideas, and at the same time there is a separate team working on collecting the data and bringing before the decision maker. This is what I would want to present, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Nitiji, you have heard a voice from the grassroots. So you agree or disagree with him, and why?
First, I absolutely agree that, in fact, I got disconnected. I'm sitting in Mumbai, the commercial corporate capital of India. Even then, the network strength and stability is an issue in metropolitan cities of our country too. So rural areas, what kind of digital governance actually is happening, even though we try to incorporate some kind of policies for Anganwadis or the schools, government schools, it is not going to be successful. As I said, we need digital highways as well. And second, what he said that the government is too vertical in our country, absolutely. But more than vertical or horizontal, I strongly believe as an individual that there is too much of government in India. There is too much of governance, in fact, and we need to have some kind of lean government also. And that shedding of the responsibilities that we take over, it never happens. Even in COVID times, like COVID, we started living normal lives pretty, say, for past 1 year at least we are living, but the airports have stopped that air suvidha now. There have been the mask related orders, etc., have been withdrawn now. So somewhere the people are not ready. Once we start something in government, it becomes a Leviathan kind of an organization. The Alp Bachat, the small savings thing, there used to be a department. It has been discontinued as per the laws. Lottery, lots of things which have been discontinued still are existing in bits and pieces. Complete discontinuation, completely saying that we will not exist in this sector anymore. That thing is not happening. There is too much of law. There are too many regulations. There are too many laws. Fortunately, the government has taken, Niti Aayog is doing a lot of work on clubbing the laws and bringing one model code for certain sectors so that people understand what is there. Today, the regulations and rules, as a citizen, I also myself feel that I may not have the complete picture. I may not know the complete picture of the regulations and rules that exist in our country. Fortunately, governments are working on it. Digital governance may not provide good governance unless we actually realize that where government should exist, where the non-government sector should exist, where the private corporate sector should live freely. So this, and then having the right kind of an integration and coordination between this G to G, G to B, and G to citizen need to be there in place. Right now, there is, even before somebody is born, government is there. Even after you die, government is there. We're there everywhere. And COVID, in fact, enhanced government's presence, which was because of the emergency. But in normalcy, the government should be bare minimum as per my personal.
No, but I tend to agree to an extent when you say that we are over-governed. But
Yes.
taking the example of the pandemic, for the first time in this country, the government knew the citizen and the citizen knew the government. So what I mean to say is that the very basis of introduction of e-governance and then talking about the digital governance has been that there has to be a single view of the citizen, and to citizen there has to be a single view of the government. But unfortunately, that has not happened. Instead, what we have landed up with a multiplicity of identities and hundreds and thousands of the schemes which the government is offering. So exactly, if I want to access one scheme, I'm totally lost. I am confused as to which department and which scheme is there for me and which department to knock the doors off. Probably that is something which is what has the point that you made, that we are over-governed. So in enthusiasm of having digital governance, we have ended up creating a plethora of services and split them over thousands of schemes and thousands of other areas, which has rendered the citizen confused more than ever. So Shreyaji, what's your response to it?
I would like to slowly disagree over there to what the words you have put forward. Rather than making the citizens confused, is it the responsibility of the citizens, or does it lie with us? Are we the ones who are creating a multiple plethora of schemes, multiple plethora of portals for everything, and seeing the people are getting finally confused? Isn't it our duty to ensure that what we are going to say is clear to them? Shouldn't our IEC and shouldn't our modes of conveying the things to them make it clear to them that yes, this is the portals that we have for you, and this is where you have to go if you have to do this thing? I mean, isn't it the duty of the government to step one foot ahead and say that yes, this is what we are intending to do? I mean, the failures of governance, digital governments, what we are saying about, it is mainly due to the, it will exist because of social, geographical, and economic disparities. So you cannot expect 100% population of your country to be well versed with the digital governance and well versed with the digital platform. And another question is with the privacy of the data. People are still concerned about the digital privacy. You're asking me that, give me a private data. You are asking me about my Aadhaar card. The first question the citizen is going to raise is, yes, I'm going to give you my Aadhaar card, but what are the data that you're going to access from this? I have a doubt. I'm not ready to give you an access to my personal information. I don't want that. I'm ready to share the information to the extent to the services should be delivered to me, or to the extent I require your helping hand, but not to the extent of poking to my personal space. That is separate. That's one question that every time when we are talking about the digital government, people will be, telling. Because my personal information is getting shared in varied platforms. I don't have a security. There is no proper security to the digital data that is getting shared. That's a major concern, which is, making people hesitant even at times too. Even the people who are well versed, who are knowledgeable, who have studied well, and who have, who are in the higher echelons of the economy also still have issues with digital governance.
Not really with the Aadhaar, but with the financial data, I would say, because Aadhaar only is about saying that this is your picture, which happens to be, and the address that you carry. The system validates that what you're saying is true. So you cannot purchase, you cannot buy anything, and it doesn't get you anything except your social benefits. But when it actually comes to the financial data, the answer is yes. So precisely when you say that people think that they get cagey about sharing their data pertaining to Aadhaar, they lack capacity and and the information about it as to what it is to be used for. So the capacity building and IC becomes extremely important at this stage, because hand holding is critical. So this would be my submission. You may disagree again.
No, we are facing the situations right now. Actually, we are trying to link our voter IDs with Aadhaar card. That has been going around now. This is the first question that is being raised by the citizens. Why are you asking my Aadhaar card? Why so? You are asking my identity. What are you going to use it for? That's the first question. So, when it comes to the digital governance, the first question that is bothering them is my private space, my privacy. Are you actually going to enter into that as a question that they have? So many a times we'll have to go with IEC. We'll have to make them convince them like, what are we using this data for? Until and unless the citizens are well informed about the programs and well informed about the ideas behind each program that we are having, till then they'll not be able to share their data in the digital platforms. That's what I wanted to put forward, actually.
So digital empowerment of citizens is extremely important, so that they know what are their digital rights. Perhaps that is something where we are left. Yeah. Samirji, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I think I agree. Your ideas also and Madam's ideas also on this, sir. Regarding what you initially said, the number of schemes coming up, something kind of a problem of plenty. I think I have a different view on this, because to identify the various strata and sections of the society, to trace out the real beneficiaries in various the type of issues they are into. I think we require specialized, concentrated approach to bracket them into a particular social sector services from the government. So it is other way around. I think rather than working on uniformizing the number of schemes and reducing the scope of scheme, the other way around, what in digital governance era we can think of creating something kind of social sector ID for each citizen. We can start building the profile of the citizens on a particular portal, and the system will start throwing out the available benefits from central government or state government or local body to what type of services he would want to avail at what point of time. Maybe it is for a child of below 6 years age, an Aadhaar card can be created, the age group can be mentioned, and including SAM, MAM counts can be entered into identify what type of benefits list of these things are available from the government. At the same time, to taking admission in the school, college, or hostel, or skill development, at least to start with, government can think of bracketing the persons with specially abled or disabled candidates with one of the department portal. It is all depends on according to me, in digital governance era, if we are able to succeed in data mining of various sectors, we will be able to really deliver good governance, and we will be able to reach out to the real beneficiary. Thank you.
There is actually, I know they're all a different kind of opinion on the same subject, but moving away a little from this and talking about youth, it's extremely important that the demographic dividend, which is what we've been talking about, being the youngest nation and being the nation with the youngest population in the world, we seem to be doing not enough to harness the demographic dividend, starting right from the district level upwards. Particularly so that, the very concept of volunteerism and engaging youth productively in the social activities, which is towards the nation building and which also propels youth to develop, love for their motherland, the sense of belongingness, the sense of brotherhood, coming together, serving the society. So this is something which comes from volunteerism. In the whole backdrop of pandemic or even before, our focus has really shifted from there. We are not inviting youths to be involved in social activities, not doing enough of, like we used to have this Bharat Scouts, or used to have this NSS, and those kind of activities which used to be there. Why is it that our focus has moved away from there? And why should we not bring it back? Nidhi?
Well, it's not that the youths are not being engaged in the activities. Like even we are right now having a Chala Jaunu Ya Nadila. So let us just know the river, what kind of rivers are there in Mumbai. So there is a campaign which is going on all across Maharashtra. And we are engaging with the university students, with the NSS coordinators of all the colleges out there in Mumbai. Having said so, there are issues. The volunteerism that we can probably get, like when I was in Palghar, which is a rural district, or in Raigad, which is a rural district, while handling the disasters or while managing COVID also, the civil defense volunteers or the NGOs, the youth volunteers, the rescue teams of some disaster management related NGOs, which were all young boys and girls, which were supporting us during floods and during cyclones, ensuring that people are getting the relief materials. So the volunteerism works really well, wherein the community as such lives as a community. So whereas in cities which are very cosmopolitan very metro, and wherein life itself is always running at a speed beyond bullet trains, sometimes it is difficult because the boys and girls who come from other states and other parts of Maharashtra, and they are here in Mumbai, getting the education, living, ensuring their own transport, and also collaborating for the government programs. In cities, there are difficulties that we sometimes face. But having said so, it's not that our youths are not interested in knowing about what happens in country, what is to be done for the country. In fact, the entire social media, which is these days led by youth, sometimes in the right direction and a lot often in the wrong direction, is because they are really, really concerned. They really want to talk about the issues that the country is facing, like Mumbai, when monsoon comes, from the city floods to the pothole issues, to the drainage issues. Everything is being discussed at length by the youths of Mumbai. But their active participation when it comes to beach cleaning, when
That's
it
the
comes
noise
to
which
the
gets
city's
created
cleaning,
around it
may
rather than
become
the
a
active
little.
participation.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Shreyaji?
Yep. I would agree with what Nidhi was saying. It's not that, we have lost our youth, we have not lost our camaraderie, we have not lost our peer groups in the digital era. We still have the, group of youths working together. Might be it has, taken a different face as what has happened in a digital era, because now your opinions are being heard by a lot of people at the same time in a digital platform. They're using, some of them are using it in a very good way, whereas some are having adverse effects. Because in case of floods, in case of any disasters, actually we are using the digital platforms to bring together our people, to disseminate the information faster, to make sure that the youth are working together. We are using the platform. At the same time, to formation of the groups, formation of the opinions, and that all spreads very faster in a digital platform among the youth nowadays. That's actually much more to say among the citizens, among the youth, responsible youth and responsible citizenry. That's the need of the hour. You have to know how to go about the information which you have received. How much has to be distilled? How much is the truth? How much is the peer pressure that you're having? How much is your peer group discussing about? That makes a lot of difference when coming to the youth of the day. Because now, if you see, only even when we are saying this, even among the youth of the India, only 50% has access to the digital platform. Mm-hmm. Still, people are there in the ground who don't have access to digital platforms, who have peers in the schools, that college group, or your groups in the locality which you're working together with. So we cannot completely say that our digital governance has completely taken away the youth to an era of mechanical world, where we are not sure about our environment, where we don't interact, where we are not emotionally connected. Still we are. It is only the part coming to the point that how much you are responsible, how much a responsible citizen.
You have a point there that, the biggest contribution that has been made by the social media, the digital tools, so to say, that it leads to a lot of debates and discussions. Some good, some bad, which is anyway, there are always two sides to the coin, and it will happen that way. But, the point made by Nidhi, I would agree that as well, that, it remains limited to the discussions and debates on social media only, and active participation still is lacking. Perhaps, it's more out of the need to make noise and to vent out, people take to such digital tools which are available. But yes, the real sentiment is something which is what, even if you distill it out of 100, at least it'll be reflective of 25%, which otherwise was not the case when probably we do not have access to such digital tools. But yeah, to that extent, it does involve people in expressing their opinion, so that the governance in one way or the other may or may not improve. If they have something specific to tell that leads to a grievance, which is then dealt one-to-one with the government agency, whether it is a district or the Zilla or the Panchayat or whatever it is. Yes, I agree with the points made by the panelists, but yes, interestingly, we have had this discussion over next maybe 15-20 minutes extended paucity of time. We'll have to stop here. And I, at this moment, thank all the three panelists for sharing your concerted opinion on various aspects of governance, keeping the districts in mind, because that is the first line of contact. The way the people deal with the first line of contact for a citizen to deal with the districts and the panchayats, Zilla Panchayat, and so on. So, thank you very much, Nidhi ji, Shreya ji, and Sameer ji for joining us for this discussion.